OC World is made possible by the generous contributions of the Marisla Foundation, the Keith and Judy Swain Family Foundation, Orange County Community Foundation, the Cordoba Corporation, and viewers like you. Thank you.
The story of young Bradley Rofer has many connections, but especially to this song by Adam Levine. He's the lead vocalist of the pop rock group Maroon 5.
Hello, Rofers. It's Adam here. I'm just very simply reaching out to send my love. I heard the story. I heard about Bradley, and there's really nothing that there really are no words to say. I don't know what the right thing is to say. I think that what I can say is that I was just deeply touched by the story that I heard and the involvement that our song actually played in all of it. And you know, one thing I can say is just that music at its best has the ability to heal, to soothe, to heal the unhealable, and to soothe the unsoothable. So I guess that's what I'll say, is that to have played any part in any of it that was positive is a good thing, and that's the whole point of what I do, of what we do. So we love you guys and we support you guys.
A heartfelt tribute to an 8-year-old Orange County boy who was struck by a pickup truck on his way to school. Bradley Rofer's family has announced that he will be taken off life support and that he will become an organ donor. Rofer was struck Thursday as he walked his bike through a crosswalk. It was his first time riding his bike to school.
All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is only. I'm Bradley, and we have a friend that's 2 years old, and he has leukemia. These are our beautiful flowers. They're $10 each, and all the money that we get from them is going to be donated to our friend named Connor.
I love a couple of things that I gleaned from the memorial service. So I was going to start with Aron. And I know with a father and son, there's a different connection than with a son and a mother. So just talk to me about Bradley and that connection you had with him.
Bradley was my firstborn son, and he was just a perfect little boy. He's everything I could have ever imagined. He looked like me when he was a baby. He was a daddy's boy, and we were just connected at the hip from the very beginning. We spent a lot of time together doing things that we enjoyed, especially playing baseball. And he was just sweet, caring, wise, and just almost like a good friend. And we just really understood each other and got each other, and just really enjoyed spending time together.
So we fast forward to the age of 6. What had happened in his life that he realized he wanted to begin his flower business?
From an early age, Bradley had an entrepreneurial spirit. He was always interested in figuring out how he could make money or start a business. And for my dad's 80th birthday party, we had a birthday party for him at a Chinese restaurant in Los Angeles. And at the end of the evening, I saw Bradley going around and collecting everybody's fortune cookies. And I said, Bradley, what are you doing? He said, well, when I get home, I'm gonna set up a fortune cookie stand, and you know how kids sell lemonade? Well, I'm gonna sell fortune cookies. And so he had this huge bag full of all these fortune cookies, and when we got home, I helped him set it up. We made a sign, and our neighbors were so gracious, and they bought fortune cookies from him, and he just loved that. But then he learned through our religion about tzedakah, which is charity, taking care of others, and always trying to instill in him values to be a mensch, which is just to be a good human, be a good person, take care of others, give to those in need, help those in need, and just be a nice person of great character. And he really took that to heart. And so with the flower business, he had decided that he wanted to use that money to help sick children in our community.
We have these beautiful hydrangeas out on the side, and they get about that big. And after the fortune cookie, I said, Bradley, you know, when spring comes around, we can sell the hydrangeas. And I don't remember when I told him, but when spring came and they started blooming, he runs up to me, Mom, can I sell your hydrangeas? It's like, yeah, buddy, we can sell them. That's kind of when the idea, we could sell flowers. Like, this is a business. And so we came up with the name Bradley's Beautiful Bouquets, and his flower business started. And around that time is I was putting Bradley to bed as I normally do, and I had my phone, and I was reading a post about a GoFundMe page about a little boy named Connor. And Connor was 2 years old, and he had leukemia. And I was reading it to Bradley as I was putting him to bed. And he goes, Mommy, I want to sell flowers and raise money for him. And I said, buddy, that is a great idea. Let's do it. And that's how our flower business started. And that's how we started giving back to the community.
Talk to me about the connection now with that song and Bradley Rofer.
In my eulogy, I said it's kind of ironic now. And I listened to the song on purpose. I watched his memorial video, which has the song, about every day to every other day. And Bradley and Connor, they would both play the music before we would go to school. And so every morning when I was packing their lunches, packing their backpacks, I would hear the song. And so I still play it. And it still makes me feel like Bradley's here. And it fills my heart with that memory, that morning of him being there, playing, me packing their bags, getting them ready.
We started to talk earlier about the day that he got on his bike, and you have a lot of vivid memories of that day. Describe to me that morning and realizing Bradley's going to take this independent step, and you're holding Connor, trying to let him have that moment. Take me through that morning.
It was a beautiful September morning, but it was actually Wednesday. Wednesday, he came down the stairs and we were packing the bags and he says, Mommy, can I ride my bike to school? And I said, buddy, not today. We have to make sure we have your helmet. We have to make sure we have your bike lock. We got to check the bike and we got to get to school. We don't have much time today. Okay, Mommy, no problem. So we go to school. Thursday morning, September 1st, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, he runs down the stairs. He's completely dressed for school, ready to go. He goes, Mom, can I ride my bike today? And I looked at him and I said, yes, buddy, you can ride your bike today. And he was so thrilled. We went outside. He had his lock, he had his helmet, and we went outside and we checked the bike. I had all their belongings ready. We're outside. And we get the bike, he has his helmet, he has his lock, he has his backpack, he's ready to go. He checks the tire, he goes, Mommy, my front tire needs air. So I touched the tire and it wasn't flat, it wasn't bouncy, but it wasn't flat. And I said, no, buddy, you're good. You're good. And I took about 5 pictures of him smiling, wearing his helmet, and he went down the driveway and I said, bye, buddy, I love you, because I love you, Mom. And I kind of procrastinated a little bit with Connor, and we got in the car. Connor was in the front seat, and we rolled down the windows, and we're going to say, okay, we're going to tell Bradley, go, Bradley, go, go, Bradley, go. And we turn the corner and we don't see him quite yet. And then we get to the intersection. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Where were you at that time?
I was here in the house getting ready for work, and I received a call from a local resident who was up there at the scene. So I was able to get up there immediately, and there had been a lot of traffic, so I parked as close as I could and then sprinted out of my car to Bradley. And so I was able to be with him at the scene and then in the ambulance with him as we went to the hospital. And never left his side ever since then. We were not going to give up hope. We were hoping and praying that he would make it, that he would be okay. We got to spend a lot of time with him. I got to tell him everything I wanted to tell him.
What did you tell him?
I told him how proud of him I was, how amazing he was. He was such an incredible boy. How much I loved him, and just thanked him for being such a wonderful boy and for loving our family, and just felt very grateful that I had that opportunity to tell him everything. And I don't know if he heard me. I hope that he did. But we got to hug him and kiss him and sleep in the bed with him and spend those last few days with him, which were really special.
Bradley died just a few days shy of his 9th birthday on September 5th, 2022. He was kept alive for 4 days so he could continue to give back to others, only this time as an organ donor. In honor of their son, Josette and Aron created the Bradley Rofer Foundation to help children and their families who have unanticipated hardships due to sickness or injury or medical needs. The community of Coto de Caza then pulled together to help raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for the foundation, giving both meaning and purpose to Bradley's passing.
The support of this community has been overwhelming, and we're so appreciative for all of you and everything that you guys have done to honor our boy and to help raise money for sick children in our community. Bradley would be so proud of all of you playing hard on the field and raising money to help others. Bradley was about giving, about empathy, and about helping those who needed the help. The Bradley Rofer Foundation, Bradley's Beautiful Bouquets, is an extension of what Bradley was doing during his life. All we're doing is continuing his work. For the last 3 years, Bradley has been raising money to help kids in the community. And this is all about kids helping kids. And it warms our hearts so much to see all of you out here to help us continue his legacy. Love you guys!
Connor and I are going to finish it with play ball! After he passed away, I knew how incredible he was, but I didn't know how incredible he was. Right. And I remember this little boy coming up to me. He saw I was new to the school. Bradley was the first boy who said hi to me. I was like, my Bradley? There were just so many of those stories about how friendly and kind and generous he was.
Talk about how there are now doors opening so that kids who might be like him will have the opportunities to do what he was on the cusp of doing as a child.
So after Bradley's passing, a lot of parents expressed to us about how they wish their child was more active in the community with philanthropy, with random acts of kindness, with just getting outside of this bubble here in Orange County and realizing that there's more to life, and not just, going to school and playing sports and doing activities, but really getting involved in the community and helping others and being gentle and being kind. And so one of the things we wanted to do with the foundation was help inspire children in the community to be like Bradley, to be an entrepreneur, to learn how to start their own business, to raise money, and hopefully give a percentage or all of that money to charities that they believe in, learn about philanthropy, learn about community service and volunteering. And so we thought Lion's Heart was a perfect partnership because that's everything that they instill.
Lion's Heart is a national nonprofit that mobilizes students and volunteers in their communities. The organization has more than 6,000 members in 33 states. Jim Bastian is chairperson of the board. The partnership between the Bradley Rofer Foundation and Lion's Heart will launch a new volunteer program geared towards families with young children.
Bradley's a neighbor of ours, lives right across the street. And over the last couple of years, I was able to see all the great things that he was doing in our community. He had a passion for helping others, and where he channeled this passion was in selling flowers, bouquets of flowers for kids with cancer. He was going to raise money and he just wanted to help. And so he asked his mother, and they came up with like this small business that was all towards a philanthropic purpose to help kids with cancer at first. And we'd watch them out there on the driveway assembling their bouquets, and other kids would join in, and it became kind of a big deal in the community. We'd see it every couple of weeks, and like, what's going on over there? And he enlisted the support of our neighbors, other kids on his baseball team, and it was just sort of Bradley's movement. And I kind of noted at the time, it was interesting to me. Here's a kid, 7, 8 years old. And I saw him in the future being a member of Lion's Heart, actually, because Lion's Heart's all about kids and community service and volunteerism, and he exhibited that at a very young age. And so I sort of in my head logged that, well, that kid's going to be in Lion's Heart, and he's probably going to be a leader. At his passing, it was remarkable to me, even at the service when his parents both spoke. They spoke passionately about using this tragedy as a way to build a platform towards something bigger and more positive. I have no doubt that Bradley would have done amazing things had he lived, but I think there's a real possibility for him to even do more than he might have done.
It's a trite question to ask about lessons that have come out of this, but for the two of you, the education beyond the loss, what are you learning about people, about your own children?
We were talking about how it's really hard to pray in a God that took your child away. But it's also really hard not to pray. And so I had to step back and find a new God of my understanding. And so I have always believed that God works through people. I don't believe that God had anything to do with Bradley's accident. I don't believe that even his higher purpose, some people say, well, they took him away because he has a higher purpose. I don't believe in that as well. I believe that it was a complete accident, and I believe that God works through people. And so when people come up to me and hug me and love me and care for me and give me strength, direction, comfort, that's how God works through people. And that works, and I was explaining to you earlier that that's how I see war. God doesn't have anything to do with war. God works through the person that's pulling the person out of the rubble. That's where God shows up. And God has shown up so many times after losing Bradley to walk us through the pain and the suffering, and has given us so much purpose, and has given us so much direction, and has just lit a fire under us to continue what Bradley was already doing.
Beginning my 28th year as a rabbi, I have unfortunately seen tragedy up close before. And I can tell you that you and your family and your friends have exemplified how to transform chaos into calm and significance. Bradley will not die in vain.
Maybe you want to place blame somewhere, and whatever was steadfast in your heart might not be there after something like this. So when she says what she did about God and her faith and
Faith is such a personal issue, and there are lots of ways to think about it. If you think about an all-powerful God, then God is to blame for the things that happen. But there are other ways to look at God. And I think Josette's theology is very similar to my own. And that is, the God I believe in is a rather limited God. And what that God is whenever there's goodness in the world, God is present in the world. God isn't responsible for the evil things that happen. If that were the case, I would hate God myself. Right? Because why would the Holocaust happen? Why would an 8-year-old be taken from us? I understand the comfort that comes from people who have the faith that God acts and it's beyond our understanding and there's a purpose for that. I really appreciate that. Sometimes I'm even envious of that faith. That isn't my faith or really necessarily a Jewish response. The Jewish response is seeing the goodness in people. Back to the word mitzvah. There are some who have said that mitzvah is where God and humanity meet. So when there's a good deed in the world, a blessing in the world, then God is present on this earth. And, Bradley was the embodiment of that. He was literally the embodiment of that. So if your faith is such that God is all good, then you look to all the blessings that have flowed through this horrible experience. And that maybe increases your faith in some way. It doesn't take away the anger or the senselessness of it all. And sometimes that leaves us bereft and empty because we do want to blame somebody. We do want to place a reason for it. And the way I often think about it is some people say everything happens for a reason, which is really understandable, but maybe nothing happens for a reason. And when things happen, we bring meaning to that which happens. And I think the Rofers have done that so beautifully. And to me, that is the essence of God and spirituality.
When we first heard the song in the car, we both loved it, and he knew that I had a previous relationship working with Adam Levine, and so he thought it was super cool that I knew him, and Bradley really gravitated towards his music, all his songs that we would hear, but for some reason that one was just like a special song between us, and we would always sing it to each other in the car, and we would point at each other at the point where it says you, and it just became our favorite song.
His all-time favorite piece was Memories by Adam Levine.
Did you teach him that song, how to play it?
Yes.
Did you feel something when he played it? Did he feel something when he played it?
Yeah. I mean, that song is just so bittersweet and beautiful. Sometimes he would kind of sing as he played it, but it was just, I think he was an old soul. He sorry.
It's okay. That song is pretty darn emotional now. Then, perhaps too, but even more so now, right?
Well, not even thinking about the song. I'm just thinking about Bradley. He was just sorry.
That's okay.
He was just a really amazing kid, and I think that's one of the things that drew him to that song. He just had a really big heart.
Bradley's Honor Walk is about bringing families together to honor Bradley and all other donors like him who have made the ultimate sacrifice to save lives. In just 8 months, I am proud to report that we have already helped over 20 sick kids in the community.
On a recent Sunday in April, about 750 people showed up for the Bradley Rofer Honor Walk. It was at Rancho Santa Margarita Lake. The 2-mile walkathon honored Bradley and other organ donors like him. It will become an annual event, and it is clear Bradley Rofer is still giving.